Cash and cash. Class, our topic for today is cash and cash equivalents. In the board exam for this topic, ang usual na question is, as of December 31, how much is the balance of your cash and cash equivalents? Therefore, ang technique sa topic na to is to know which items are included or excluded from cash and cash equivalents. Doon iikot yung magiging discussion natin. Are you ready? Okay, let's start. We have two types of cash on hand and cash in bank. Sir, ano ba mga examples of cash on hand? Number one is coins and currencies. When you say coins, yan yung 1 peso coin, 5 pesos, 10 pesos. When you say currencies, yan yung mga bills. 20 peso bill, 50 pesos, 100, 500, and 1,000. Coins and currencies are included in your cash on hand. Next is petty cash fund. Meron tayong separate discussion for petty cash fund. But basically, yung petty cash fund, yun yung cash ng business that is used for small and minor expenses. For example, bibili tayo ng office supplies. O kaya naman, magbabayad tayo for transpo. Petty cash fund na lang yung gamitin natin. E, babalikan natin yan. Next is undeposited collections. Sir, ano naman yung undeposited collections? For example, class, meron tayong customer. Nagbayad sa atin 5,000 pesos. And then tomorrow pa natin i-deposit sa bank. As of today, yung 5,000 pesos na yun is considered as cash on hand. Tomorrow, pag na-deposit na natin sa bank, magiging cash in bank na. Right? And last one is money order. Sir, ano naman yung money order? Plus, siguro familiar kayo sa mga remittance centers. For example, Western Union, Cebuana Luwilier, M. Luwilier, Palawan Pawn Shop, mga ganyan. Ganito nag-work yung money order. Let's say meron tayong customer based in Davao. And then, babayaran tayo ni customer, 10,000 pesos. Ang pwedeng gawin ni customer, pupunta siya sa remittance center, let's say Western Union, magre-request siya ng money order for 10,000. And then, yung 10,000 na yan, ipapadala sa atin yan. Let's say tayo si ABC Company, located in Quezon City, ipapadala sa atin yan. Yan. Kailangan alam natin yung reference number ng money order na yan bago natin maklaim yung 10,000 pesos. Ang tawag dito kay customer, siya si sender. Ang tawag sa atin, tayo si recipient. Ang advantage ng money order, pwede kang magpadala ng pera kahit wala kang bank account. Right? Coins and currencies, petty cash fund, undeposited collections, money order. These are examples of cash on hand. Let's go to cash in bank. Pagsabayin na natin yung first two items, savings deposit and demand deposit. Pag nag-open ka ng bank account, let's say sa BDO, yun na lang gamitin natin example. Pwedeng savings or demand deposit. And take note class na ang ibang tawag sa demand deposit is checking or current account. So pag nabasa mo, demand, checking, or current, magkakamukha lang ibig sabihin nun. Alright? Now, sir, ano ba difference sa savings and demand deposit? Pag nag-open ka ng savings deposit, bibigyan ka ni BDO ng ATM. Pag nag-open ka ng demand deposit, bibigyan ka ng passbook plus checks or mga cheque. Yung checks na yan, pwede mong ipambayad yan. For example, tayo sa ABC, pwede tayo magbayad kay supplier using checks. Let's say 10,000 pesos. Ngayon, si supplier, pag na-receive niya yung check sa atin, ang pwede niyang gawin dyan is i-deposit niyan sa bank account niya. Let's say, ang bank account niya is BPI, Metrobank, BDO. So, ang mangyayari doon, pag dineposit ni supplier yung check sa bank account niya, yung 10,000 pesos matatransfer from our bank account to the supplier's bank account. Or, ang pwedeng gawin ni supplier, i-encash niya yung cheque. Pag in-encash niya yan, actual 10,000 pesos yung marireceive ni supplier. Clear? Okay. Now, ganoon nag-work yung checks na yan. And take note class na both savings and demand deposit are interest-bearing. Ibig sabihin, nag-earn tayo ng interest yan. Okay? Savings deposit and demand deposit, they are included in your cash in bank. Let's go to number 3. Checks received from customers. Take note, tayo yung naka-receive. Doon sa demand deposit, tayo yung nag-issue. This time, tayo yung naka-receive. Magkaibang point of view yan. Okay? So, ganito nangyari yung class. Si customer, nagbayad sa atin. For example, tayo sa ABC, using checks for 10,000 pesos. Ang pwede natin gawin sa check, again, pwede natin i-deposit sa sariling bank account natin or pwede natin i-encash. Ganyan nag-work yan. Now, for board exam purposes, meron tayong 4 types of checks. First one is personal check. Sir, ano yung personal check? Yung in-illustrate ko na yan. Personal check yan. Okay? And personal checks are the most common. Iyan yung usually ginagamit in everyday business operations. Si customer, magbabayad ng check sa atin, pwede natin i-deposit or pwedeng i-encash. That's how personal checks work. Okay? Now, ang disadvantage ng personal checks is si customer, baka wala talaga siyang 10,000 pesos sa bank account niya. Nag-issue ng check sa atin si customer. Ngayon, pag in-encash mo, possible na wala pala talagang 10,000 sa bank account si customer. Siguro narinig nyo na yung tumalbog yung cheque. Ganun yun. Okay? Now, para ma-eliminate natin yung risk na yun, pwedeng gumamit ng second type of check. Ang tawag dito class is certified check. Sir, paano nangyayari dyan sa certified check? Sa certified check, merong verification process muna. For example, si customer nag-issue ng check sa atin. Yung banko, let's say si BDO, i-double check niya muna kung talagang may 10,000 pesos si customer sa bank account niya. Pag na-verify na ni BDO, ima-mark niya yung cheque ng certified or accepted. Ibig sabihin ng certified or accepted, ginaguarantee ni BDO na si customer meron talagang 10,000 pesos sa bank account niya. Gets? Okay. Now, as you notice, yung certified check is a secured check compared to the personal check. Alright? Third type of check is cashier's or manager's check. Sir, paano naman nag-work yung cashier's or manager's check? Ganito yung class. Si customer, bago mag-issue ng check sa atin, papadaanin niya muna yan sa banko. For example, si BDO. And from BDO, saka pa lang i-issue sa atin, si ABC. Alright? Unlike dito, from customer, diretso yung check sa atin. Kapag cashier's or manager's check, from customer to bank, before natin ma-receive. Take note, kapag yung check i-issue na from BDO to sa atin, ABC, yung check na yun is under BDO's name. Alright? So technically, si BDO yung nagbabayad sa atin. So secured yung check na yun. Alright? So that's how it works. Cashier's or manager's check. Last type of check is traveler's check. Sir, ano naman yung traveler's check? From the word itself, travelers. Ang gumagamit niyan, yung mga nagto-travel abroad. For example, mga tourists. Okay? Pero nowadays, credit card na lang ang ginagamit kasi mas convenient. Pero illustrate ko pa rin kung paano nag-work yung traveler's check. Let's say si Mr. X, siya yung bida natin. Next week, pupunta siya ng US. Okay? And then 3 days after, pupunta siya ng Japan. And 3 days after, pupunta siya ng Korea. Now, ang hassle naman, if si Mr. X magdadala siya ng iba-ibang check na iba-ibang denomination, US dollars, Japanese yen, Korean won, so hassle sa kanya yan. Ang pwedeng gawin ni Mr. X, pupunta siya sa banko, let's say si BDO, magre-request siya, magbabayad siya for traveler's check. So mag-i-issue sa kanya si BDO ng traveler's check. Prepaid yan, binabayaran mo na yan ni Mr. X. Okay? Ngayon, ang advantage ng traveler's check, pag pumunta na sa different countries si Mr. X, ina-accept yung traveler's check na yun kahit anong denomination or kahit anong currency. Okay? That's what you call traveler's check. Checks received from customers, personal, certified, cashiers or managers, or traveler's check, they're included in your cash in bank. Last one, bank draft. Sir, ano naman yung bank draft na yan? Bank drafts are used for large purchases. Large purchases. Okay? For example, class, bibili ka ng kondo. Okay naman, sasakyan. So, malakihang amount yan. Pwedeng bank draft yung gamitin mo dyan. Okay? Let's say si Mr. X, bibili siya ng kondo for 10 million. Ngayon, ayaw ni Mr. X na actual cash yung ibayad niya. And let's say si Mr. X wala rin siyang cheque. So, pwede siyang gumamit ng bank draft. Ganito mangyayari dyan, class. Magre-request siya ng bank draft kay BDO. And then, ang gagawin ni BDO, i-double check niya kung si Mr. X may 10 million ba talaga dun sa bank account niya. Pag may 10 million si Mr. X, ita-transfer ni BDO from bank account to bank draft yung 10 million. Right? So magre-request si Mr. X ng 10 million na bank draft. Double check ni BDO kung meron and then ita-transfer yung 10 million to bank draft. Ngayon, yung bank draft na yung class, iyan yung gagamitin ni Mr. X para bayaran yung seller ng condominium. Gets ba yan? Ulitin ko. Si Mr. X, gusto niya bumili ng condo. Pwede siya mag-request ng bank draft from BDO. Ita-transfer ni BDO from bank account ni Mr. X to bank draft. I-issuean siya ng bank draft, iyon yung ipambabayad ni Mr. X dun sa seller ng condominium. Alright? Savings deposit, demand deposit, checks received from customers, bank draft, they're included in your cash in bank. Let's go to the last one. Cash equivalents. Sir, ano naman yung cash equivalents na yan? According to the standards, cash equivalents are short-term, highly liquid investments that are readily convertible into cash. Ito yung definition ng cash equivalents in the standards. Now, ang magka-qualify sa cash equivalents are debt instruments acquired 3 months or less before maturity. Ulitin ko, ang magka-qualify lang for cash equivalents are debt instruments acquired 3 months or less. So meron tayong 2 key points dito. Una, debt instruments, and second is 3 months. Dalawang klase lang naman klase ng instruments. Pwedeng debt instruments or equity instruments. Sir, ano yung difference ng dalawa na yan? Pag debt instruments, ang na-earn natin dyan is interest. Pag naman equity instruments, ang na-earn natin, dividends. Take note, ang pwede lang debt instruments, hindi pwedeng equity instruments. Bakit, sir? Because equity instruments, wala silang maturity date. So, hindi nila mamimit yung requirement na 3 months. Kasi nga, wala namang maturity date. So, hindi mo satisfy yung 3 months na yan. Alright? So, debt instruments, acquired 3 months or less, iyan lang yung pwede mag-qualify as cash equivalents. Let's have some illustrations para mas malinaw. Number 1, treasury bills. Sir, ano ba yung treasury bills na yan? Yung Philippine government natin, maraming projects yan. For example, pag-construct ng MRT, o kaya pag-construct ng highway, o kaya pag-fund ng education, mga tuition fee ng state colleges and universities, yun yung mga examples ng government projects. Right now, obviously, kailangan ng cash para ma-fund yung projects na yan. And one of the ways para magkaroon ng cash si government is by issuing treasury bills. So mag-i-issue si government ng treasury bills or what you call also T-bills sa mga investors. Sir, sino ba yung mga investors na yan? Investors can be individuals or mga companies. So individuals, tayo mag-invest dyan. Or yung mga companies. Obviously, ang i-invest ng mga investors na yan is cash. And yung cash na yan, yun yung gagamitin ng Philippine government para ma-fund yung mga projects. Okay? Now, in return, si Philippine government, magbabayad yan ng interest to the investors. Therefore, yung mga investors, meron silang interest income, which is considered as debt instrument because debt instruments earn interest. Kaya yung treasury bills, qualified siya as cash equivalents. Alright? Now, sir, bakit ba tinawag na treasury? Tinawag siyang treasury because ang nag-i-issue niyan is the Bureau of Treasury or BTR, which is a government agency. Okay? Treasury bills, treasury notes, and treasury bonds. Sir, bakit pare-parehong treasury yan? Kasi class, si Bureau of Treasury, nag-i-issue siya ng treasury bills, treasury notes, and treasury bonds. Ang difference lang yan is the term. Treasury bills, ang usual term nito class is 90 days or less. Treasury notes naman, ang usual term yan is 1 to 10 years. Treasury bonds, 10 years or more. Okay, yun ang yung difference nila. Sir, akala ko ba yung cash equivalents, 3 months or less, bakit may 10 years dyan? Ganito yung class. So listen carefully. So imagine, ito yung treasury notes and treasury bonds. Maglagay tayo ng date. January 1, 2025, January 1, 2026, and January 1, 2027. Yung maturity date ng treasury notes and treasury bonds natin is January 1, 2027, which is 2 years from now. Okay, let's say January 1, 2025 ngayon. For example, class, January 1, 2025 natin binili yung treasury notes or treasury bonds. Ipe-present mo yun sa books mo as investments na non-current asset. Bakit non-current asset? Because yung maturity is 2 years from now. Gets? Okay. Now, what if naman, sir, binili natin yan January 1, 2026? I-report mo na yan sa books as investment pero this time, current assets. Bakit current assets? Because magmamature na yan 1 year from now. Sir, kailan yan magiging cash equivalents? Pag binili mo siya 3 months or less, kailan ba yung 3 months before January 1, 2027? October 1, 2026. October, November, December, that's 3 months. So, ibig sabihin, class, pag binili mo yung treasury notes and treasury bonds within this time period, dun siya magiging considered as cash equivalents. Gets? Okay. Ulitin ko lang. Pag treasury bills, take note, 90 days or less yan. Ano ba yung 90 days? Di ba 3 months yan? So, ibig sabihin, basta treasury bills, automatic cash equivalents yan. Kasi 90 days or less. Pasok siya sa definition ng cash equivalents. Alright? Pag treasury notes and treasury bonds, magiging cash equivalents lang yan. Pag binili mo siya 3 months before maturity. 3 months or less before maturity. Take note, hindi magmamatter kung ano yung original maturity. Ano ba yung original maturity nito? 2 years. Hindi magmamatter yun. Ang magmamatter kung kailan mo binili yung cash equivalent na yan. Gets? Okay. Treasury bills, treasury notes, treasury bonds. Let's go to the fourth one. Time deposit. Sir, ano naman yung time deposit? When you open a bank account, pwede yung savings deposit, demand deposit, or time deposit. Sir, ano difference ng time deposit sa savings and demand deposit? Sa time deposit, kaya mo siya tinawag na time, it's because may mga terms yan. Pwedeng 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 180, 360 days, etc. Now, ang key sa time deposit is, mawi-withdraw mo lang yung cash mo upon maturity. Ano ibig sabihin nun, sir? For example, class, ang inopen natin is 90-day time deposit. Ibig sabihin, yung cash mo, mawi-withdraw mo lang yun after 90 days. Okay? Unlike dito sa savings and demand deposit, pwede mong i-withdraw anytime yan. Pwede, sir, ibig sabihin, mas maganda pala yung savings and demand deposit kaysa sa time deposit. Not necessarily. Because for time deposit, mas mataas yung interest niyan compared to savings and demand deposit. Alright? Now, take note na iba-iba yung terms ng time deposit. So, magka-qualify siya as cash equivalents pag 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days siya. Kasi 3 months or less. Clear? Okay, very good. Last two before we answer our handouts. Money market placement. So, ano naman yung money market placement? Plus, familiar ba kayo sa mga mutual funds and mga unit investment trust funds? Siguro yung may mga insurance dyan, familiar kayo dyan. Yung mga mutual funds na yan and unit investment trust funds, nag-i-invest yan sa portfolio of investments. Ibig sabihin ng portfolio, well, iba-iba klaseng investments. Pwedeng treasury bills, pwedeng treasury notes, pwedeng treasury bonds, or other types of investment. So, ganyan ang ginagawa ng mga mutual funds and mga UITFs. Obviously, para makapag-invest sila dyan, kailangan nila ng cash. Saan sila kukuha ng cash? From different investors. Let's say si Mr. X, mag-i-invest dyan sa mutual funds and UITFs. Mag-invest siya ng cash. Yung cash na yan, iyon yung ipang-i-invest nila sa portfolio. Tama? In return, kikita sila dyan ng interest. And yung interest na yan, iyan yung marireceive natin from the mutual funds and UITFs. Kaya siya considered as cash equivalent because nag-earn tayo ng interest. Debt instruments, nag-earn ng interest, di ba? Iyon yung cash equivalents. Ayun. Kaya yung money market placement is considered as cash equivalent. Now, sir, paano naman kikita dyan yung mutual funds and UITFs? Usually, meron silang percentage. May commission sila dyan sa ma-earn dun sa investments na yan. Okay? Now, take note class na sa treasury bills, treasury notes, and treasury bonds, tayo yung diretso nag-i-invest dyan. Pero sa money market placement, dumadaan muna yan sa mutual funds and UITFs bago mag-invest dun sa treasury bills, treasury notes, and treasury bonds. So, indirect siya. Sir, bakit ganun? Ba't di na tayo diretso mag-invest dyan? Because yung mutual funds and UITFs, mga investment professionals yan. So, mas knowledgeable sila sa atin pagdating sa mga investments. Mas alam nila kung ano yung magagandang investments. Alright? Sige. Last one. Commercial paper. Commercial paper class, usually ginagamit yan ng mga large corporations. Okay? For example, si SM Prime. Si SM Prime, siya basically yung may-ari ng mga SM malls. Okay? Let's say, plan niya na magtayo pa ng isang branch ng SM sa Cebu. Okay? And maraming ways sa SM para ma-establish niya yung mall na yan. Pwedeng gamitin niya yung sarili niyang cash, pwede siya umutang sa bangko, or pwede siya mag-issue ng commercial paper. Paano nag-work dyan, sir? Commercial paper na yan, may mga different investors. For example, si Mr. X. Pwede siya mag-invest sa SM Prime through commercial paper. Po-provide siya ng cash, and then si SM Prime naman, mag-i-issue sa kanya ng commercial paper. Alright? Now, let's say si Mr. X, ang binigay niyang cash is 900. Take note, maraming investors yan. Si Mr. X, isa sa mga investors. At maturity date, si SM Prime, ang ibabayad kay Mr. X is 1,000 pesos. Ang invest ni Mr. X is 900. Ang na-receive niya at maturity is 1,000. Yung 100 peso difference na yun represents interest income. Okay? Kaya si commercial paper, qualified din siya as cash equivalents. Yung cash na marireceive ni SM Prime from different investors, yun yung gagamitin niya para mag-start ng another branch ng SM. Okay? Cash on hand, cash in bank, and cash equivalents. Okay class, let's apply the concepts by answering our handouts. Start muna tayo with the problem solving, and then later mag-answer tayo ng theory questions. Okay, let's go to problem number 1. First thing you have to do is to read the question para meron ka ng idea kung paano mo i-analyze yung given. Okay? Problem number 1, question is, the cash and cash equivalents to be shown on the December 31 balance sheet is, so basically yung question sa atin is, how much yung cash and cash equivalents? Let's read the given. The composition of ADI Company's cash account as of December 31, 2021 is as follows. Class, take note, in the actual board exam, yung years na ginagamit are usually 2020, 2021, and 2022. So yun yung years na gagamitin natin sa handouts para hindi ka naman ibago sa actual board exam. Okay? Specifically for FAR, AFAR, and tax. Alright? Sige. Now, analyze natin per item. Let's see kung alin yung magiging part of cash and cash equivalents. Item number 1, demand deposit account, 2 million. Is it part of cash and cash equivalents? Yes. Demand deposit is cash in bank. Okay? So problem number 1, lagyan natin dyan class, demand deposit, 2 million. Next item, time deposit, 30 days. Part ba yan of cash and cash equivalents? Yes. Pag time deposit, as long as 30, 60, and 90 days yan, part yan of cash equivalents. Okay, so lagyan natin dito class, time deposit, 1 million. Next item, NSF check of customer. Sir, ano ibig sabihin ng NSF check? NSF stands for no sufficient funds. Ganito nangyari dyan class. Si customer, nagbayad sa atin ng check, okay? Amounting to, sa given, 40,000. Nagbayad ng 40,000 sa atin si customer, yung check na yun, nung i-encash natin, wala pala talagang 40,000 si customer sa bank account. Naalala niyo yung sinabi ko earlier, yung tumalbog yung check NSF check yun, okay? So, pakita ko sa inyo yung journal entries class. For NSF, anong nangyari dyan? Nung nagbayad si customer sa atin, entry natin is debit cash, credit accounts receivable, 40,000. And then, nalaman natin, no sufficient funds pala, NSF pala, sabi sa atin ng bangko. Alright? I-reverse natin yung entry na yan. Debit AR, credit cash, 40,000. It means, pag NSF, it is still considered as an accounts receivable. Okay? So, kung gagawa tayo ng timeline class, para mas ma-visualize mo, so today is December 31, 2021. Kapag NSF yan, ang classification yan in the books is accounts receivable. Okay? Sir, kailan magiging cash yung NSF? Ang kailangan gawin ni customer is magre-reissue siya ng check. Okay? Pero this time, dapat meron na siyang 40,000 sa bank account niya. For example, si customer, nag-reissue siya next year, January 5, 2022. Okay? And then, meron na siyang 40,000 sa bank account niya. Doon pala magiging cash sa books natin yung check na yun. Gets? Okay. Pero as of December 31, NSF check is considered as an accounts receivable. Kaya huwag mo isasama dito yan. Okay? Let's go to the next item. Money market placement. Due June 30, 2022, 1.5 billion. Uy, money market placement. Sabi ni sir, cash equivalent yan. Kaya lang, take note, ang date dyan, or due date is June 30, 2022. Today is December 31 up to June 30, so 6 months yun. Sobra siya dun sa 3-month requirement natin. Okay? So dapat acquired 3 months or less. Since 6 months yan, hindi siya magiging part of cash equivalent. Okay? I-present mo yan as other current asset. Gets? Dapat acquired 3 months or less before maturity. Okay, next. Savings deposit in a closed bank. Uy, savings deposit. Sabi ni sir, cash in bank yan. Cash in bank yan. Kaya lang, problema, closed bank na yan. Ibig sabihin, nag-deposit ako sa bank, tapos eventually nalugi yung banko. Okay, nag-bankrupt yung bank. Ipe-present mo yan as other assets or other current assets. Huwag mo yan ipe-present as cash and cash equivalents. Okay? Next. IOU from employee. Sir, ano ibig sabihin ng IOU? So literally, ang ibig sabihin yan, IOU or may utang ako sa'yo. Yun ibig sabihin yan. Now, since IOU from employee, ang ibig sabihin yung class, nag-cash advance tayo sa employee. Alright? Ipe-present natin yung IOU from employee as receivable from employee. Okay? Kaya hindi siya part of your cash and cash equivalent. Receivable from employee yan. Okay, next. Pension fund and petty cash fund. O yung petty cash fund, alam natin class, cash on hand yan. So kasama dito yan. Petty cash fund amounting to 10,000. Yung pension fund naman class, well, yung pension, long term yan. Okay? Pag magre-retire na yung mga employee. So ibig sabihin, yung fund natin para dun sa pension, other non-current assets mo ipe-present yan. Hindi yan part of your cash and cash equivalents. Gets? Okay. Next item, customer's check dated January 1, 2022. 50,000. Okay. Today is December 31, 2021. Yung check na in-issue ni customer, okay, dated tomorrow. Ang tawag natin dito ng klase is post-dated check. Lagyan natin dito, post-dated check. Sir, ano yung entry natin sa post-dated check? Well, nung na-receive natin yung post-dated check, entry natin is debit cash, credit accounts receivable. Okay? Which is 50,000. Kaya lang, nung December 31, nalaman natin, ay, post-dated pala. Tomorrow pa pala natin pwedeng i-encash yan. I-reverse mo yan. Parang ganito lang din. Okay? Debit AR, credit cash, 50,000. Gets? So, ganun siya. So, lagyan natin dito, class, kapag post-dated check, accounts receivable yan. Para siyang NSF. Okay? Pareho silang AR as of December 31. Sir, kailan magiging cash yung post-dated check? Pag pwede mo na siyang i-encash. Dito sa problem, pwede mo na siya i-encash kung kailan yung date ng check eh. For this one, January 1, 2022. So it means class, on January 1, 2022, doon na magiging cash yung post-dated check. Gets? Hindi na siya post-dated by January 1, 2022. Alright? But as of December 31, kapag post-dated, accounts receivable. Alright. Customer's check outstanding for 18 months. Meron tayo class na tinatawag na stale check. Lagay ko dito, stale check. Pag stale check, ibig sabihin class, overdue na yung check. Long overdue, matagal bago in-encash. Alright? And in practice, usually 6 months yan sa banking practice. Pag hindi mo in-encash within or after 6 months, magiging stale yung check, may invalidate. Okay? For example, si customer, nag-issue sa atin ng check, naka 6 months na, hindi natin in-encash. Magiging stale yun, magiging invalid yun. Ang gagawin ni customer, dapat mag-reissue siya ng check. Okay? So for this one class, nakalagay, customer's check outstanding for 18 months. So more than 6 months. Okay? Usually may clue yan sa problem. Okay? Pwedeng sabihin na stale check na, o kaya pwedeng sabihin na more than 6 months, so in this case, 18 months, considered as stale check yan. Okay? Huwag mo isasama yan sa cash and cash equivalents. Kailan mo sir isasama yan? Dapat mag-reissue ulit si customer ng bagong check. Gets? Okay. Next, additional information. Bullet number 1, check of 200,000 in payment of accounts payable was recorded on December 31 but mailed to suppliers on January 5. Take note class, dito sa bullet 1, tayo naman yung nag-issue ng check, tayo si issuer. Okay? Kanina, dun sa mga given, tayo yung naka-receive ng check. Okay? Sa bullet 1 class, anong nangyari? Nag-issue tayo ng check, pero na-mail natin or dineliver natin sa supplier on January 5. Ganito nangyari dyan class. Ang tawag dyan is undelivered check. Undelivered check, pakita ko sa inyo yung journal entry. Okay. On December 31, ang nangyari dyan class, tayo yung nag-issue, so debit accounts payable, credit cash, amounting to 200,000. Alright, ito yung entry natin. Kaya lang, na-deliver natin sa supplier, January 5 pa. Alright, so dapat, as of December 31, i-reverse mo yan. Kasi dapat, ginawa mo yung entry na yan sa January 5. Okay, debit cash, credit accounts payable, 200,000. It means, yung undelivered check, it's still your cash, okay, as of December 31. So lagay ko dito class, kapag undelivered check, dapat, as of December 31, considered yan as still your cash. Okay? So, lalagyan natin dito, class, undelivered check, UC na lang. Undelivered check amounting to 200,000. Add back natin yan. Plus 200,000. Alright? So, ayan natin siya. I-reverse mo yung entry mo. Gets? Okay, let's go to bullet number 2. Check of 100,000 dated January 15, 2022 in payment of accounts payable was recorded and mailed on December 31, 2021. Parang yung first bullet. Ang nangyari dyan, ni-record daw noong December 31. Pero dineliver natin January 15 pa or dated January 15. Okay? Actually, yung bullet number 2 na yung class, post-dated check din yan, pero this time tayo naman yung issuer. Kanina tayo yung nag-receive, di ba? Tayo yung naka-receive ng check. Tayo naman yung nag-issue. Okay? So, anong nangyari dito class, kung lalagyan natin ng entry, Debit accounts payable, credit cash, yun yung ginawa daw noong December 31, 100,000. Kaya lang, post-dated check yan, tama? So, cash pa rin natin yan as of December 31 kasi tayo yung nag-issue. I-reverse lang natin yan. Debit cash, credit accounts payable, 100,000. Alright? So, ibig sabihin, cash pa rin yan. Sa bullet number 2 natin, lagay natin post-dated check. Take note class, magkaiba yung kanina ha. Kanina, yung post-dated check na yan, tayo yung naka-receive. Okay? Kaya AR yan. Dito naman, yung post-dated check dito, tayo yung nag-issue. Therefore, cash pa rin natin yan. Kailan siya mawawala sa cash natin? Sa January 15 pa. Okay? So, add natin yan, 100,000. Okay? So, take note. Very important sa point of view. It's either ikaw yung naka-receive ng check or ikaw yung nag-issue ng check. Let's go to bullet number 3. The company uses the calendar year. The cash receipts journal was held open until January 15, 2022, during which time 400,000 was collected and recorded on December 31. O, mali yung ginawa niya kasi anong nangyari dyan? Na-receive noong January 15, tapos ni-record mo December 31. O, mali yan. So, lagyan natin dito, lagyan natin error. Okay, may error sa recording, minus 400,000. Okay, let's compute. The total cash and cash equivalents, 2 million, plus 1 million, plus 10,000, plus 200,000, plus 100,000, minus 400,000. Answer natin dito class, 2,910,000. Letter C. Okay, problem number 1, answer is letter C. Let's go to problem number 2. So class, try ko na hindi i-erase yung lecture natin kanina, okay, para magre-refer tayo lagi dyan. So i-erase ko na lang yung solution natin. Let's go to problem number 2. One company reported, o check muna pala natin yung mismong question. What is the correct amount of cash on December 31, 2021? Ingat ka dun class. Nakalagay dyan cash. Ibig sabihin, ang tinatanong sa atin is cash on hand and cash in bank. Huwag mo isasama yung cash equivalents. Sir, kailan natin isasama yung cash equivalents? Pag sinabi, kung nakalagay, what is the correct amount of cash and cash equivalents? Doon mo lang isasama. Parang sa problem 1. Kung babalik ka sa problem 1 class, ang tanong dyan is the cash and cash equivalents. Kaya sinama natin. Okay? Pero sa problem 2, nakalagay lang, what is the correct amount of cash? Huwag mo isasama yung cash equivalents. Gets? Okay. Let's read the given. One company reported the checkbook balance. Sir, ano ibig sabihin ng checkbook? Ibig sabihin ng class, passbook. Yun din yan. Pareho lang yan. No? Ibig sabihin cash in bank yan. At 8 million. In addition, the entity held the following items. So, in addition daw. Hindi kasama. Okay? Or hindi pa kasama to dun sa 8 million. Alright? Isa-isa natin. Check payable to the entity dated January 2 in payment of a sale not included in the December 31 checkbook balance. So, lagay muna natin class yung checkbook balance. Lagay natin cash in bank. Okay? 8 million. Basahin natin ulit. Check payable to the entity dated January 2, 2022 in payment of a sale not included in December 31 checkbook balance. Paano yan, sir? Analyze natin, class. Check payable to the entity. Tama ba, class? Tayo yung naka-receive ng check from the customer. Tama? Dated January 2. Uy, post-dated check. Okay, post-dated check. Alam natin kanina, pag post-dated check, AR pa rin yan as of December 31. Okay? So, dapat hindi mo yan isama as your part of your cash. Okay? Buti na lang, ang nakalagay dyan, not included. So, hindi daw siya kasama dun sa 8 million. Tama yung ginawa ng entity. Wala tayong adjustment dyan. Gets? Okay. So, titignan mo mabuti, included ba or not included? Okay? Dito, dapat hindi sinama, and then hindi naman talaga niya sinama. So, wala tayong any adjustment. Let's go to the second item. Check payable to the entity, deposited December 15 and included in December 31, but returned by bank on December 30, stamped NSF. The check was deposited on January 2, 2022 and cleared on January 5, 2022. And ano tawag natin dyan? NSF check. Kapag NSF check, accounts receivable yan as of December 31. Okay? Kailan siya magiging cash? Kapag na-redeposit at kapag nag-clear. In this case, magiging cash siya sa January 5. Alright? And nakalagay dyan, in-include daw. Kasama daw dito. Tatanggalin natin yan. So, lagay natin class, yung 3 million na yan. So, lagay natin NSF, 3 million. Tanggalin mo yan. Kasi nakalagay included. Dapat excluded yan. Next item, check drawn on the entity's account. Sa third item, tayo naman yung nag-issue ng check. Okay, ingat ka sa point of view. It's either tayo yung recipient or naka-receive ng check or tawag sa atin payee or it's either tayo yung issuer or yung maker ng check. Dito sa item number 3, tayo yung issuer. Okay, check drawn on the entity's account dated and recorded on December 31 but not mailed until January 15. Ano tawag natin ng class? Undelivered check. Okay? Pag undelivered check, still cash yan as of December 31. Pero ni-record daw noong December 31. So, kailangan i-add back natin yan. Okay? Ang ginawa niya, debit accounts payable, credit cash. I-reverse natin yan kasi cash pa rin natin yan. Okay? So, lagyan natin undelivered check, UC na lang. Add back natin class yung 2.5 million plus 2.5 million. Okay? Coins and currencies on hand. Part ba yan of your cash? Of course. Coins and currencies, cash on hand yan. So, lagyan natin CNC or coins and currencies, 800,000. And then, last item, 3-month money market instruments or money market placement. Uy, money market placement. Tapos 3 months. Pasok yan sa cash equivalent. Kaya lang, last ingat ka. Ang tanong sa atin, what is the correct amount of cash? Huwag mong isasama yung cash equivalent. Ang kasama lang dyan, cash on hand and cash in bank. Okay? So let's compute total. 8 million minus 3 million plus 2.5 million plus 800,000. Answer natin class is 8.3 million, letter C. Easy. Okay, 8.3 million. Final answer for problem number 2. Okay, last problem or last item for cash and cash equivalents. Yung succeeding problems, ibang topic naman yan. Okay, problem number 3. Question is, cash and cash equivalents on its December 31, 2021 statement of financial position should be, let's read the given. On December 31, the cash account of Christopher Company has a debit balance of 3.5 million. An analysis of the cash account shows the following details. Okay. So, nakalagay daw sa books niya, may 3.5 million. And class, pag titignan mo lahat ng items na yan, pag tinotal yan, makikita mo sa baba, in total, 3.5 million. It means, yung nakapresent sa books ni Christopher Company, ito daw yung composition yan. Aalamin natin kung alin dyan sa mga items, yung part of your cash and cash equivalents. Let's go to the first item, undeposited collections. Part ba yan of cash and cash equivalents? Yes. Pag undeposited collections, cash on hand yan. So, lagay natin dito. Lagyan na natin UD, or UC pala, undeposited collection, 60,000. Next, cash in bank, PCIB checking account. Oh, of course, checking account, or yun din yung demand deposit, cash in bank yan. So, lagyan natin class, cash in bank. How much? 500,000. Okay. Next, cash in bank, PNB, overdraft, 50,000. Okay. Sir, ano ba overdraft? Meron tayo ditong bank draft. Iba yung bank draft sa overdraft. Okay. Pag bank draft, kasama yan, automatic sa cash in bank. Pag overdraft, ang ibig sabihin niyang class, excessive withdrawal. Sobra-sobra yung na-withdraw natin. Okay? Ang classification ng overdraft, tandaan nyo, is current liability. Take note of that. Pag overdraft, lagay ko dito. Overdraft, automatic yan, current liability yan. Except, okay, may exception dyan. For example, class ako, meron akong savings deposit and then meron akong demand deposit sa BDO. Yung savings deposit ko, nag-negative, nag-overdraft. Pwede kong i-offset yun dun sa demand deposit ko sa BDO. Okay? Pero pag isa lang yung bank account ko, tapos naging overdraft, current liability yan. So, ulitin ko class, pag bank draft, cash in bank. Okay? Pag overdraft, current liability. Kasi sobra-sobra yung withdrawal mo dyan. Ang exception lang, pwede mo siyang i-offset kapag meron kang dalawang bank accounts sa same bank. Dapat same bank ha, pwede mo i-offset yun. Otherwise, current liability yan. So, huwag mo siya sama yan sa cash in bank. Next. Undeposited NSF check received from a customer dated December 1, 2021. NSF, accounts receivable yan. Huwag mo isasama yan sa cash in bank or cash and cash equivalents. Let's go to the next item. Undeposited check from a customer dated January 15, dated in the future. Post-dated check. Kapag post-dated check, accounts receivable. Hindi rin kasama yan. Next, cash in bank, PCIB, fund for payroll. Actually, yung payroll or savings account, sa banko, halos magkamukha lang yun. No? So, kasama yan. Lagyan natin payroll account, 150,000. Okay, next. Cash in bank, savings, deposit. Yes, kasama yan. Lagyan natin SD. 100,000. Next, cash in bank, money market instrument, 90 days. Uy, money market placement or money market instrument, 90 days. So, pasok siya dun sa 3-month rule natin. Okay, so kasama yan, 2 million. Money market placement, 2 million. Okay, add natin yan. Next, cash in bank, foreign bank, restricted. Okay, so may important concept ako class na i-discuss. Mabilis lang. Before an item can qualify as cash and cash equivalent, that item should be unrestricted. Okay, very important. Bago maging cash and cash equivalent ang isang item, it should be unrestricted. It means readily available for use. Okay? If it's restricted, automatic, hindi siya part of your cash and cash equivalents. Okay, summarize natin. Ganito yung class. Tingnan mo muna, if the item is unrestricted, okay, sigurado part yan of cash and cash equivalents. Kasi readily available for use. Okay? Kapag naman restricted class, hindi na yan part of cash and cash equivalents. Sir, ano yung magiging classification yan? Tignan mo muna kung ano yung purpose ng restriction. Dalawa lang naman yan. Usually, ang purpose niyan class is payment of liabilities, okay, or acquisition of PPE. Nag-set aside ka para pambayad sa, let's say, bank loan. Nag-set aside ka ng cash. Okay, next year, babayaran ko yung bank loan. Ayun. Set aside mo yung cash. Ang tawag doon, restricted. Okay, for payment of liabilities. Okay naman, okay, mag-restrict tayo ng 1 million, bibili tayo ng equipment. Okay? Restricted for PPE yan. So, ano ba yung classification natin? Magiging, yung ni-restrict mo na cash, magiging other non-current asset na yan. Alright? Ganun mangyayari sa'yo. Pero depende. Pag naman next year mo nababayaran yung liabilities, or next year mo bibili yung PPE, pwedeng other current assets naman yan. But ang important is, basta restricted yung item, huwag mo isasama sa cash and cash equivalents. Gets? Okay. So dito, nakalagay restricted, huwag mo isasama yan. Pe-present mo yan as other current assets or other non-current assets. Next, IOUs from officers. So, alam natin class kanina, as discussed, pag IOU, receivable yan from employee. Huwag mo isasama yan. Sinking fund cash. Actually, ito yung example ng sinking fund. Kapag nag-restrict ka ng cash for payment of liabilities, ang tawag natin dyan, sinking fund cash. Isasama mo ba yan sa cash and cash equivalents? No. Okay, ano presentation yan? Other non-current assets. Except, pag next year mo na babayaran, pwedeng other current assets yan. Alright, listed stock held as temporary investment. Pag stock, equity instrument yan. Okay? Pag equity instrument, hindi yan magka-qualify as cash equivalent. Dapat kasi debt instrument. Pag equity instrument, walang maturity. Huwag mo isasama sa cash equivalent yan. Alright, so let's compute the total. 60,000 plus 500,000 plus 150 plus 100,000 plus 2 million. Answer natin dito class, 2,810,000. Final answer for problem number 3 is letter B or boy, 2,810,000. Yung succeeding problems, next topic na sasagutan yan. Okay? So ayan, that's for problem solving for cash and cash equivalents. Let's answer the theory questions. Theory number 1, change the question to cash and cash equivalents on the balance sheet may include the following items. Ulitin ko, for theory number 1, cash and cash equivalents on the balance sheet may include the following items. Tignan natin class kung ano yung mga kasama dito sa cash and cash equivalents. Number 1, currency or cash items on hand. Yes, kasama yan. Cash on hand. Okay. Number 2, deposits in foreign countries which are subject to foreign exchange restrictions. Kasabi ko lang, basta restricted, huwag mo isasama sa cash equivalents yan. Number 3, short-term placements of excess cash which can be pre-terminated. Money market placement yan or short-term placement. Kasama yan sa cash equivalents. So, kasama yan. Number 4, post-dated checks. O hindi yan. Pag post-dated checks, accounts receivable. Number 5, cash set aside for the acquisition or construction of non-current assets. For acquisition of PPE, other non-current assets yan. So, ang magka-qualify lang for cash and cash equivalents, item number 1 and item number 3. So, answer natin for theory number 1 is letter C. Okay, letter C. Ano pa mga example of cash equivalents? Commercial paper, time deposit na 30, 60, and 90 days. Treasury bills, automatic cash equivalent yan kasi 90 days yan usually. Pag treasury notes and treasury bonds, again, dapat acquired sila 3 months or less before maturity. Okay? Let's go to number 2. Cash equivalents are, punta ka dun sa letter C. Yung letter C, yan yung accurate description of or definition of cash equivalents. Short-term, highly liquid investments that are readily convertible into cash and acquired 3 months before maturity. Letter C for number 2. Number 3, all of the following can be classified as cash and cash equivalents except bank drafts. Yes, kasama yan. Cash in bank yan. Equity investments, mali na yan. Bakit sir? Pag equity investments or equity instruments, walang maturity yan. Hindi niya mamimit yung 3-month requirement natin. Boy na yung sagot dyan. Okay? Tignan natin yung other choices. Loan notes held due for repayment in 90 days. Ang example nito yung treasury notes or loan notes. Okay? Nakalagay, 90 days, so pasok siya sa 3 months. Kaya letter C is a cash equivalent. Okay? Sir, bakit yung D cash equivalent din? Tingnan natin class. Redeemable preference shares acquired and due in 60 days. Okay, 60 days, walang problema kasi pasok sa 3 months. Sir, di ba yung preference shares, equity yan? Yes, equity yung preference shares. Pero pag redeemable preference shares, nagiging liability yan or debt instrument yan. Okay, aralin natin yan next time sa shareholders equity. But basically class, pag sinabing redeemable preference shares, ang presentation mo dyan is debt instrument or liability. Okay? Kaya ang best answer for number 3 is letter boy, equity investments. Okay. Number 4, which of the following items should not be included in cash? A, coins and currency in cash register, kasama yan, cash on hand. Letter B, amounts on deposit in checking account at the bank, kasama yan, cash in bank. Letter C, checks from other parties. Presently in the cash register, checks received from customers. Yan yan. Pwedeng personal, certified, cashiers managers, or traveler check, kasama yan sa cash in bank. Letter D, money market placement, iyan yung hindi kasama sa cash. Because money market placement is cash equivalent. Okay, letter D or dog for number 4. Number 5, which of the following is not considered cash for financial reporting purposes? A, bank charges for the period. B, errors made by the company. C, petty cash fund and change funds. D, post-dated checks and IOUs. Okay, yung letter A and B, okay, didiscuss natin yan sa bank reconciliation, sa next topic natin. Yung letter C, petty cash fund and change funds, alam natin kasama yan. Okay, petty cash fund. Pero didiscuss din natin yung petty cash fund sa next topic. But definitely, alam natin class, dog yung sagot dito. Post-dated checks and IOUs, accounts receivable yan. Okay, or receivable from employee. So for number 5, not considered as cash, dog yung sagot natin yan. Letter D. Okay? Number 6, what is a compensating balance? Okay, so discuss natin mabilis lang class yung compensating balance. Ganito yung class. Yung compensating balance arises whenever may loan tayo from a bank. For example, nag-loan tayo kay BPI. Okay, si BPI, nagpa-loan sa atin. Let's say tayo sa ABC company. Okay, pinaloan sa atin 1 million. Okay, sabi ni BPI, may compensating balance tayo, 10% ha. Ano yung 10% ng 1 million? 100,000. Ibig sabihin ng compensating balance class, hindi mo pwedeng gamitin or i-withdraw yung 100,000 yan. I-retain mo yun sa bank account mo. Okay? Compensating balance serves as protection for the bank, collateral, para sigurado na mabayaran natin yung bank. Yun yung compensating balance. Okay? Sir, ano yung accounting natin for compensating balance? Ganito yung class. Compensating balance, tignan mo muna if not legally restricted, okay, or legally restricted. Pag sinabing not legally restricted, may word na not legally restricted. Tama ba, class? Unrestricted yung ibig sabihin nun. Okay? It means, pag not legally restricted, part yan of your cash and cash equivalent, specifically cash in bank. Okay? So, part yan. Parang yung kanina, pag unrestricted. Pag legally restricted, hindi mo talaga pwedeng i-withdraw. Okay? Depende yan sa nature ng loan. Okay? Pag yung loan, lagyan natin dito, is short term or within 1 year, or yung loan is long term. Pag short term yung loan, yung compensating balance mo is presented as other current assets. Okay? Pag long term yung loan, yung compensating balance mo is presented as other non-current assets. Imi-mirror natin. Okay? Mirror siya. Ulitin ko. Sir, compensating balance, paano yung accounting yan? Depende. Pag not legally restricted, ibig sabihin nun unrestricted. Part of your cash and cash equivalents. Pag legally restricted, hindi mo pwedeng i-withdraw. Okay? Tingnan mo muna yung nature ng loan. Pag short term yung loan, within 1 year, current assets yung presentation ng compensating balance. Pag naman long term yung loan, non-current assets. But definitely, since legally restricted yan, hindi siya magpo-form part of your cash and cash equivalents. Imi-mirror mo yan. Pag short term yung loan, current assets. Pag long term yung loan, non-current assets. Gets? Alright. Let's go to number 6. What is a compensating balance? Punta ka dun sa letter D or dog. Minimum deposit required to be maintained in connection with a borrowing arrangement or loan. Okay? Letter dog yan. Number 7. If the deposit is legally restricted, the compensating balance related to a long-term loan. Okay? Ang sagot mo dyan, letter C, long-term investment or non-current asset. Okay? Kasi ang tanong dyan, ang mga choices, cash, hindi yan cash. Other asset, pwede. Letter D, current liability, hindi yan pwede. Letter C, yung best answer. Because yung long-term investment, non-current asset yan. Okay? Letter C for number 7. Okay, hanggang number 10 lang yung cash and cash equivalent. So let's 3 items to go. Number 8, bank overdraft. If material should be, ulitin ko, na-explain ko na earlier. Pag bank draft, cash in bank yan. Pag bank overdraft, current liability yan. Okay? Pero pag meron kang dalawang bank accounts sa same bank, pwede mong i-offset yun. Pag negative yung isa, okay? Pag overdraft, yung isa positive, i-offset mo yan. Pag wala kang ganun, okay? Bank overdraft is always presented as current liability. That's why sa Good Young Class, dog reported as current liability. Number 9, if a financial institution has cash funds in a company which is in bankruptcy and the amount recoverable is estimated to be lower than the face amount, cash should be, punta ka dun sa letter C, written down to estimated realizable value. Parang ganito. For example, class, nag-deposit tayo sa BPI. Okay, 1 million. For some reason, for example, extreme case, na bankrupt yung bangko na yun. Okay? So sa Philippines, meron tayong PDIC. May insurance yun. Usually, ang insurance is 500,000. Okay? So ang sure tayo na marireceive natin sa insurance natin, dun sa dineposit natin is 500,000. Ito yung dineposit mo, 1 million. Ang recoverable mo lang sa insurance is 500. Ipe-present mo yung cash in bank mo as 500,000. Kaya letter C yung sagot dyan. Written down to its estimated realizable value. Ang estimated natin is 500,000. Gets? Okay. Last item for cash and cash equivalents. Number 10, the following statements relate to cash. Which statement is true? A, the term cash equivalent refers to demand credit instruments such as money order and bank drafts. Well, yung bank draft, cash in bank yan, hindi yung cash equivalent. So, mali yan. Letter B, the purpose of establishing a petty cash fund is to keep enough cash on hand to cover all normal operating expenses. Mali din yan. As explained earlier, yung petty cash fund, para yan sa minor expenses sa business. Again, next meeting, di-discuss natin yan. Mali din yan. Letter C, classification of a restricted cash balance as current or non-current should parallel the classification of the related loan. O parang yung kanina. Mini-mirror natin. Pag short-term, current asset. Pag long-term, non-current asset. Letter C, yan yung correct answer. Letter D, compensating balances required by a bank should always be excluded from cash and cash equivalent. Depende. Kapag yung compensating balance mo is not legally restricted, pwede mong isama yan sa cash and cash equivalents. For number 10, answer natin is letter C. Okay, so that concludes our discussion for cash and cash equivalents.